An NPS Arrowhead logo on a black background. Text on screen reads, Mariah Reading, Artist in Residence, June 2025. A young woman in a pink shirt sits on the couch in a cabin, surrounded by several pieces of art from her residency.
Hello! My name's Mariah Reading and I'm an environmental landscape painter and I've been the artist in residence here for the month of June 2025. Woohoo! Surrounded by all the art that I've been able to make, both done and not quite done, that I'm bringing home with me. But yeah, what a month it's been. I've been applying for this residency since 2017 or 2018. So the fact that I'm here now is just all the sweeter. It's flown by this month, but also I feel like I've had time to really reflect and be here, just be here in Glacier National Park. Yeah, it's been one of the only residencies. This is the 5th National Park residency that I've had the privilege of participating in, and this has been kind of one of the more transformative ones. I kind of have taken my work in a different direction that I didn't anticipate, which is very exciting. Tried to find this balance between exploring. You know, there's 700 miles of trails to explore, but then also wanting to come back and have time to reflect on this landscape. So my first week here, I participated. My first program was a trash cleanup on the highway, and we found barely any trash, which is just remarkable for a park that has 3+ million visitors annually. So what I have been finding are like little micro trash pieces, which can be just as harmful, especially to wildlife. So I'm starting this kind of new collaged type of art, this mosaic piece.
Mariah reaches to her right and picks up a 1 foot by 2 foot piece of artwork with a 3-dimensional, geometrically textured surface. On top of the unusual surface is painted a landscape with a gray mountain, forested hills, and a turquoise lake in the foreground.
Which I'm not done yet, but I'm going to bring it home to Maine with me. So these are all bits and pieces of trash found in and around the park that I'm compiling together to form one cohesive painting. And I haven't really taken my work in this direction before. I've done collage, I've done sculpture, but this is kind of a jumping off point from that. So this is the Avalanche Lake Trail, where you can see those beautiful teal colors through the slats of the trees. So I'm excited. This one's been, it's taken a while to get into all those like nooks and crannies and all of that. So we're working on this one. Yeah, finding bits and bobs. This too is kind of a...
As Mariah gestures, the painting behind her tilts and starts to tip over.
Woo! Don't mind me, all my trash. This one too is kind of a little bit of a different approach. This is a view from St. Mary.
Mariah reaches to her left and picks up a round painting of a jagged mountain with bits of snow in front of a blue-green lake with purple and yellow flowers in the foreground.
Like with all the beautiful wildflowers coming through, and I found this microfiber towel that I cinched up to form a mountain out there. So again, I'm kind of thinking more in a collaged way, which is exciting, very exciting. So I'm excited to return to this piece as well. But as I continued to be here for a couple of weeks, I did start to find larger pieces of trash. So this one that fell down are bike shorts. That's why there's this weird hole in the middle. It's the legs of the bike shorts.
Mariah gestures behind her to a large 2 foot by 3 foot painting with an oblong hole in the middle near the bottom. As she explains, it becomes possible to faintly see the seams outlining the waistband and legs of the shorts that are painted over with a landscape, with a mountain peak in the background and a forest and creek in the foreground.
But I found this right after I biked partway up the Going to the Sun Road, because I was here before it opened all the way to cars. So that was a really exciting thing. I did that at sunrise, and then I was driving back to Apgar, and I found a crumpled up pair of bike shorts lying in the parking lot there on the day that I biked it, and took this photo while I was biking. So I was like, I gotta do it. So I had stretcher bars, and I stretched the canvas of the bike shorts around the stretcher bars to form this canvas. So this was a really, really fun one to complete during my time here. But yeah, I feel very privileged that each of the programs that I gave were in different districts of the park, so I was able to visit every district of the park and see how dynamic, similar, but also very different they all are. Yeah, and I think what I was saying earlier was, of all the parks that I've done a residency for, this one I would go to a new place and be like, oh, I need to do a completely different painting. Like this is so inspirational too. So it was almost hard to choose, and I kind of almost felt hesitant to start painting because I knew that I was going to see something just as beautiful, if not even more beautiful, the next day. So it was hard to commit to things, but I just had to after a while. So then I guess on this side, I was able to do some of my more typical work where I paint on trash and then align it with the horizon so that it blends into the environment. This was another piece that I did initially when I wasn't finding much trash. So I found this shovel in the Goodwill garage of staff housing here.
Mariah gestures to a shovel next to her that's painted to resemble the round, multicolored rocks of Glacier's lake shores.
And I thought, what a perfect way to describe the glacial carving of Glacier National Park with a shovel. So I painted all the beautiful red, multicolored rocks at the head of Lake McDonald and was able to align that. So I just did that yesterday, which feels really good to kind of have a piece completed and aligned before I leave. It was kind of crunch time this last week. And then I have some of these smaller, more taste bite-sized pieces. This one's on a Kula cloth that I found while I was backpacking with my cousin early in my stay. And then this up top was a Tupperware container that I found the day before I had my program out at the Rising Sun boat dock out at St. Mary. So I painted the Wild Goose Island onto it. Yeah, and I've got a few other paintings, but yeah, these are kind of the majority of what I have. I still don't know what I'm going to donate. I feel like I usually have a good feeling about, oh, this one is what I want to donate, but I don't know. And there are still some pieces that I need to continue working on, but yeah, I just feel very privileged to be here, to be able to see a glacier. You know, the few that remain meant a lot as an environmental artist. And yeah, just kind of a final story. I grew up, my parents were living in Washington, and then they moved to Maine, and they drove the Going to the Sun Road and took 4 photos to make a panorama. So I grew up with that framed photo collage in my childhood house, and it's like been a part of my subconscious for the 31 years that I've been alive. That was in 1992. So I found the spot and was able to take the similar panoramic view, which kind of shows, you know, how this park kind of remains, because they look very similar, but also how quickly change is happening around us. So as a landscape artist who's kind of depicting these changes, I'm, again, just so privileged to be here and kind of take a snapshot of what this place looks like right here, right now in June 2025. So thank you so much, Glacier.
Text on screen reads, "To learn more about Glacier's Artist in Residence program, visit www.nps.gov/glac/getinvolved/air.htm."